try to graph a parabola given the vertex form of a quadratic equation, no? Graphing a parabola with equation in vertex forms. So, sagdi ko ni out ang agi. Basta kaya mo na dyan. Now, for example, we are given the function f of x is equal to negative 2 times x minus 3 squared plus 8. So, the first step in here is to identify whether the graph opens upward or opens downward. So, how do we identify that one? So, mag-base kita sa ato value ng a. A here is negative 2, which is less than 0. This means that our graph will open downward. So, that is the first step, no? Now, the second step is to determine the vertex of the parabola. Now, di ba ang original form ng vertex form is written as f of x equals a times x minus h squared plus k. So, let us try to rewrite this given function. From f of x, we will equate this one. I-copy lang ang whole term sa left side, sa right side rather. So, we get negative 2 times x minus 3 squared plus 8. So, obviously, our a here, this is negative 2, no? And then, we have our h here, that is 3, diba? The vertex, that is of the coordinates h and k. So, our h here, that's 3. And our k here, that is 8. So, now, we have the coordinates 3 and 8, which is the vertex, no? So, the third step, kaya una nato ini, kaya magamit pa nato ang space later. So, the third step is to find the x-intercepts. So, how do we find the x-intercept? That is simply to let y be equal to 0. So, from here, pwede nato ang f of x, i-rewrite nato as y, no? So, y equals negative 2 times x minus 3 squared plus 8. Or pwede ra sab si f of x ta ato ganiton. Depende na sa inyo. So, we will set this one into 0 and we get negative 2 x minus 3 squared plus 8. So, our goal here is to get the value of our x, no? Diba? Remember, the x-intercept, it is the point that passes through the x-axis where y is equal to 0. So, in here, we would rather want to add this term, no? Mag-add kita ng 2 times x minus 3 squared to both sides para ma-eliminate, and we're left with the constant 8. X minus 3 squared plus 8 plus 2 times x minus 3 squared. So, this is 0 as our goal. 8 na lang ang mabilan, and on the left side we have 2 times x minus 3 squared. So, remember katong mga properties of equalities, diba, in here? So, we used the addition property of equality, and in this particular equation, we could use division property of equality, in which we are going to divide both sides by 2. Now, we're left with x minus 3 squared, which is equal to 4. So, again, balik kita sa ato goal, which is to get the value of y, to get the value of x with y is equal to 0. And this is by taking the roots, no? So, this is cancelled. Now, we have x minus 3 is equal to the square root of 4, that is 2. Now, we will use again the addition property of equality. So, we have x minus 3 plus 3 equals 2 plus 3, and we have the value of our x, 5. So, na-identify na nato, no? Ang ato x-intercept. So, the fourth step is to find the Y-intercept. Dari na lang. The fourth step is to find the Y-intercept. So how do we find the Y-intercept? This is by setting or by letting x be equal to 0. And then, we will substitute this one to our function. No. So, f of x is equal to 0, or set na lang nato diretso, no? Kitaas na, di na masigo sa whiteboard. If x is equal to 0, then from 2 here, okay. So, yatra ka na to. Kaya basi mahutan na nasad ka mo otro. So, our function here, f of x equals negative 2 times x minus 3 squared plus 8. So, we will let x be equal to 0. Then, the right side of the equation will become, substitute nato si 0 kang x. We have negative 2 times negative 3 squared plus 8. And we're left with negative 3 times negative 3, that is 9 times negative 2 plus 8. So, negative 2 times 9, that's negative 18 plus 8. We have negative 10. Negative no, kay mas dako man ang value sa negative sign diri So, may utang ka ng 18, nagbayad ka ng 8. So, pagapon mo utang na 10. We already have our vertex and the x and y intercepts. Now, the last step is to graph all these, or to connect the points of these numbers. Okay. Bakit hindi? So, the vertex is 3 and 8, no? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3. So, this is where they intersect. This is 8 and this is 3. That is our vertex. The x-intercept, we have 5 and 0. So, 3, 4, 5. So, this is where the x-intercept is found. And we have the y-intercept, 0 and negative 10, no? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, in here, you will connect these dots, no? Okay. Sagdi kon hiwi lamang. And then, okay. So, although hiwi ang ako graph, sagdirakan lamang, but that is the graph for the function. Now, we have satisfied that the graph opens downward, no? So, this is where we graph the parabola. First is to identify whether the graph opens downward or upward. Second, get the vertex. Third, get the x-intercept. Fourth, get the y-intercept. And for the fifth or the last step is to plot the intercepts and the vertex. And then we have to connect these points, and then voila, we already have our graph.